How do you improve upon perfection? Ask the filmmakers behind Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, who changed more than a few key details from the book. So let's start right at the beginning of the movie. We see Harry under his bed sheets and practicing a little magic, right? Abracadabra and light switchiosa. Technically, this goes against the Ministry's strict rules about using magic and could get Harry expelled, but we won't tell if you don't. You know, because snitches get stitches. Well, in the book, the opening sequence is completely different, and quite frankly, much better. And oh, Harry isn't breaking any magic rules at all. Instead, he's celebrating his birthday with presents from his closest pals, Ron and Hermione, as well as gifts from a few other of his peeps. Considering how sad Harry was on his previous birthdays, this is actually a pleasant surprise for readers. After all, who doesn't want the boy who lived to enjoy his special day?
Saint Potter.
Shut up, Draco, we weren't talking to you. And speaking of other euphoric moments, how about the time when Harry gets his broom, the wonderfully named Firebolt? Seeing the boy wizard flying away at the end of the movie is a pretty iconic shot. It's the proverbial riding off into the sunset, but on a broom, not a horse. In the book, though, Harry receives the firebolt shortly after his Quidditch match. However, not knowing where it came from or if someone had put a nasty hex on it, Professor McGonagall takes it away to run some tests. You know, just to be on the safe side. Or maybe she wanted to ride it herself. At the end of the novel, Harry gets it back and the readers learn that it was a gift from Sirius Black to replace the damaged Nimbus 2000. It's a sweet present, because seriously, who wouldn't want to receive a flying broom? Of course, by now we know that Harry has taken a liking to Quidditch, because who wouldn't? It's like the best versions of lacrosse and soccer without the annoying commentators. Yet, in The Prisoner of Azkaban, the sport takes something of a backseat to everything else. In fact, it deprives us of seeing one of Harry's greatest moments from the book. What is that, you may ask? It's him winning the Quidditch Cup. Even though he was considered the best seeker in the school, he only won the cup once in his time at Hogwarts, hence the significance of the event. As it turns out, it was pretty epic when Gryffindor beat Slytherin and Ravenclaw to get all the plaudits and glory, but this sequence didn't even get some screen time in the movie. Sigh. It also had another unintended consequence. Due to the Quidditch Cup being cut from the film altogether, it delayed the debut of a popular Harry Potter character, Cho Chang, you know, one of Harry's main love interests. As the Ravenclaw Seeker, she came face to face with Harry during their battle and tried to sneak the golden snitch from him. Obviously, her plan didn't work and she couldn't win the match for her team. But it was meant to set the stage for the two future lovebirds to meet. Instead, we only got to meet her in the Goblet of Fire. She's completely forgotten in The Prisoner of Azkaban. See, this is why filmmakers need to be more considerate to adaptations, because the fans lost out here. Fortunately, there were other magical moments for Harry that weren't cut from the movie, like when he embarked on a time travel expedition with Hermione. Much like in any story that involves going back or forward in time, there's one rule, and one rule only: don't mess with your other self. In the book, Harry and Hermione take this instruction very seriously. They walk down the straight and narrow, keeping to the plan and not doing anything that might jeopardize their mission to save Sirius. In the movie, well, let's say that Hermione says one thing and does another. While she was particularly vocal about how they shouldn't interact with their other selves and lectured Harry about it, that doesn't stop her from throwing rocks and commenting on the other Hermione's hair. She really is a bossy boots who refuses to listen to her own advice.
Harry, no way!
On the topic of friendships, there's a peculiar one that's cut completely from the movie. Remember the part where Harry and Hermione go after Ron when he's captured by Sirius Black and they end up hanging onto the branches of the Whomping Willow? Well, that wasn't supposed to happen that way. In the book, they had Crookshanks to thank for some assistance. Later, it's revealed that Crookshanks and Sirius actually have a friendship, so the appearance makes complete sense from a storytelling point of view. Plus, who wouldn't want to be BFFs with such a cute fluffball like Crookshanks? Now, it's fine that this detail was changed, but then, what was the point of the cat in the movie? He shows up in the beginning briefly, then he's MIA for the rest of the time. Did he just vanish into thin air or get lost chasing something around? The movie also decided to omit an emotional scene between Snape and Harry that raised a few eyebrows. So we know how the filmmakers toyed with us and Snape's overall importance to the story across all the movies, right? They pulled the old bait and switch, where we thought he was the bad guy, but he was actually someone with a heart of gold. But this one particular scene might have been a step too far and made everyone feel the intense anger that Harry did in that very moment. If you've read the book, it's the part where Snape tells Harry that James Potter was a troublemaker at school. He goes off on a tirade about Harry's dad, and you can just tell that the boy wizard wants nothing more than to turn Snape into a bug and squash him under his foot. Maybe the filmmakers decided they didn't want our anger to rise too much here, so they cut this part completely, sparing us, really. Naturally, the biggest difference between the Prisoner of Azkaban movie and book was to do with the Marauders. If you read the book, you'll remember how the group came up with its nicknames depending on their altered shapes. Yet, it was something that was excluded from the film, and fans have complained about it for the longest time. But did you know that this change also created one of the biggest plot holes in the entire Harry Potter series? Yep. A few films down the line, Harry refers to Sirius as Padfoot and Peter as Wormtail. You know, their Marauder nicknames. But where did he get all this information from? Unless it was revealed off screen, he certainly didn't find this out in The Prisoner of Azkaban. Wonder if the filmmakers ever regret not having included a Marauder subplot. Though the film did give us one thing that the book never did, the Hogwarts Choir. And for that, we are eternally grateful. How can you not get a little excited when you hear Double Trouble complete with the croaking frogs? Our feet are already tapping just thinking about this memorable and, quite frankly, magical tune. At the end of the day, The Prisoner of Azkaban wasn't the only film that deviated from the book, though. Make sure to check out our video about all the changes made to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.